living the dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not just a game. This here is my life. It's just my life. Cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah.
I'm coming clutch, no stick shift. OZone is my witness. An icon like icons. Keep your eyes on the miss. Wait, what is this? A lot of pressure on me, but you don't know.
Hello, everybody. Live from a toasty day in Koreatown, Los Angeles. It is the OZone. I'm your host, Omar Miller. I'm here with my brother, Terry Miller, also known as the Lakeside Stank. How you feeling?
Great. It's just very, very humid.
What is going on? I'm not paying for this, California.
Very conducive to the mosquito activity.
Oh, Aedes aegypti. Aedes aegypti! Guys, we're having problems over here. California has turned into a southern state suddenly.
Turned to swamp country.
It's swamp land, and I don't appreciate it, for one. I sure don't. But baby, Jerry Jones does, because it's time to get paid in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of information going down in the NFL, and you know what? We're just going to jump right into it because that's where we need to start. What in the hell is going on with Antonio Brown?
Dino lost it.
What, Dino? Business is booming. You got $30 million guaranteed. Business has boomed.
He's feeling himself, obviously.
Oh, he's feeling himself.
But you know what I don't like about his debt? It makes him look like he was the bad guy in Pittsburgh. And I don't.
It sure does. That's exactly the way it works.
And I think that Ben has already come out and apologized for his part.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, but nobody cares now. Now it looks like he's the monster.
It looks like he was always the monster.
Look like he's Igor.
It does. Looks like he's it. Looks like he's Pennywise.
Pennywise the clown.
And it's unfortunate. So now that what they're saying is he got into it with General Manager Maycock today, freaking Mike Maycock, dude. And you know what it feels like, though? It just feels like the Raiders knew what it was going in, or at least they had an idea of what it was.
No question.
When you watch Hard Knocks, the HBO special, it feels as though John Gruden is doing literally everything he can to get Antonio Brown on the field to catch footballs. I mean, I don't know if you've watched it or not. But
I have.
He has John Gruden. I mean, even when he talks about him off, when AB isn't
elevating.
There. Oh man, he can't wait.
AB,
yeah,
AB, and I don't mean it that bad.
Hey, we got this guy Brown's coming out. Any news on Brown? Tonio playing today? How you feeling, man? You look good.
He should have thought about that before he signed him up. You know what? He comes with baggage.
Well, but it seems like they thought about that, and their strategy was to, give him a lot of leeway for his ego and so on and so forth. And he's really taking it to the limit. You look at the cryotherapy thing, clearly AB or nobody else wants those problems on his feet. That's off the top. Nobody wants frostbite on their feet.
Not that I know of.
From cryotherapy.
I don't want anything on my feet.
Trench warfare or anything, or not even in socks and shoes.
Compression.
Oh, compression socks. I had a feeling you wanted something on your feet. So, yeah, and the whole helmet fiasco made things worse.
And he was crying about the helmet 2 more times since then.
Yeah.
And the GM's been down there, even on Hard Knocks. You'll watch. He's asking, hey, when is AB going to be here? Then he told him he's going to have to either piss or get off the pot,
Yeah.
And he never came through. And he came through and played games about the helmet.
Came through. Well, see, I feel like there's not enough being said right now about what happened yesterday. Because yesterday, the Raiders fined AB for missing practice. And
I think he's been fined
He got fined twice.
Yeah.
Once for missing practice and once for missing a walkthrough. And so they fined him for missing it. And AB then in turn put up a post on social media that says, when your own team is a bunch of haters, when your own team doesn't want you to succeed. And now this became, I do believe this is the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will, because he called his own team out.
Right.
I don't see any positive coming out of that.
Right.
Basically, you're at that point, you're kind of just saying I'm above the fray, regardless of the situation.
Being a prima donna.
You got to eat that 40 or 50 G's for just not showing up.
Not that it's not a lot of money, but
not that relative.
You did that. You have to be responsible.
You did that, and also relative to the $30 million you got guaranteed. That 30,
and now that 30's got a big question mark next to it.
Now that 30 has a question mark because they're talking about that. They're talking about this. So after that, then today, apparently, I can't wait for the word to come out on what happened. But they're saying today that AB and Maycock got into it at practice or on the field.
Threatened to lay hands on him. He was going to put those paws on him.
He said he was going to put tips
those
on
some serious paws.
because he got mitts.
Got mitts. You see him, man. I think he might have a grip like the Hulk.
Forget about it.
Hulk
that guy
smash.
You don't want to see it when he gets angry. And now you're in a situation where you're threatening the GM.
Who signs the checks? He's
What do you?
I'm the man.
I have my thumb on your
I
neck.
got my thumb on your neck. I don't even put it on you most of the time.
I've given you a pass.
Yeah.
I inadvertently, or actually I purposely put my thumb on other brothers' necks
so that you can breathe.
So you can breathe because of the situation.
Exactly.
Because I know what you can bring once you're in the game.
The skills are extraordinary.
And now we're looking at this situation. What is the answer? And they decided that the answer. Now there's some interesting wiggle room here because the wording is very specific.
What
Adam Schefter has reported from ESPN has reported that the Raiders are considering suspending Antonio Brown. They're planning to suspend him, meaning he's not suspended yet.
But there's other reports out there that are saying that he is suspended, and Adam Schefter is saying that they're considering. And so we need to get some of the up to date info on that because they might have dropped the hammer on him. And they're already talking about other teams probably won't pick him up because he would be a cancer in the locker room. And he sounds like he is. And I don't even know the cat, but when you put it out there like that.
He was on Ballers. I hung out with him one time and we had a blast.
Yeah, and then, the narrative that once they start selling it, because the Raiders obviously don't want you to get a gig after that.
Yeah,
So
because they don't want you to go punish them. Yeah. And it's very interesting as well because the Raiders are the home of problems and problemed players. They're the home to rehabilitate or
that's why they
nourish.
signed him.
He fit with the thing.
Right.
And now it's like, wait a minute, man, you're too hardcore of a Raider. Slow down.
That's a lot. They said Burfict had to break it up. That's terrible.
Come on, man.
Vontae Burfict?
Vontae's like, hey, man, I'm all for the violence. But damn, this
and
is
the dirty ball player.
this is a coach. What are we doing? This is GM here.
This dude has no chance of winning this fight.
You can't win. So say Antonio knocks him out. What do you get out of that? You're out
Go
of the
to jail?
league. Yeah,
And out of the league?
That's it.
And lose some cheese?
And lose that 30. And they're talking about. So now basically what they're saying is that's a preface. The suspension would be a preface as a way to void the $30 million guaranteed. Also potentially go after the $1 million signing bonus they gave him, leaving him with nothing and giving them a zero dead cap space so they could just move on and use that money for whatever it is they felt like using him for.
Football loves that, too.
Oh, football loves that move unless you're Andrew Luck.
Love a snatch and grab.
They love that. They loved it. Didn't work out.
Yeah.
What do you want from us?
You play games. We have a reason to get rid of you now. And he's already causing problems before the season even starts. So,
right. And that is
what's
just
the
like
motivation
you
to
said.
keep him?
It's a trip because you haven't even put up one of your vintage 3 touchdown games
covered by 20 dudes,
covered by the whole team,
yeah.
and you still put up 3 tugs, and it's like, ooh, I guess we can keep playing with Antonio. You haven't done that yet. This is just still speculatory.
I still didn't think that he was going to put up nothing like he put up in Pittsburgh, just for the simple fact is that they don't have the running game with Le'Veon Bell or with the cat that they had last year, and then also Derek Carr has not been Big Ben. And you don't have,
all of that is speculation because none of it matters if he doesn't play.
Well, that's
whether,
like he's going to play.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Whether or not you believed he would or wouldn't really is.
He's a great ball player, but I don't think he would put up those same numbers, especially playing for John Gruden.
I don't really even think it matters at this point because he has to play at all. He has to still be confirmed to be on the team.
It matters because he's got to get out there. I mean, this would be a waste of talent if he can't play.
No. I'm saying it doesn't matter whether or not you felt like he was going to put up the numbers that he put up last year. None of that is, he can't put them up if he's not on the field.
He's going to be on the field somewhere, even if he got to go to Canada.
I don't think I think his ego's too big. He's a Super Bowl commercial guy. I think the ego's Pepsi Cola and all that. I think the ego's too big to fool around with the CFL.
That money makes a lot of people do a lot of things. Ask JC.
I don't think that he's. I don't think that he's that young on bread to go CFL.
He's not young on bread, but you're talking about walking away from 30, from talking about snapping the GM, breaking the GM's nose to nothing. Maybe you go play in Canada.
100% somebody picks him up in the NFL. He's not getting Kaepernicked because this is the kind of stuff the NFL can play with. The NFL is willing to play around with you if violence is the issue.
Yeah.
They don't want to play around if peaceful protest is your route. That's too dangerous.
Don't want you to take that knee.
Can't take that knee.
Too much.
It's too strong. It's too strong for him. But let's hear about somebody who did get paid and who is planning to report. Cowboy Kev would like to speak to us about his boy Ezekiel's Elliott. Gotta catch my tongue, boy. Can't even fire it up to pay that boy.
Hello, this is Kevin.
Is this Cowboy Kev?
Yes, it is.
How about them Cowboys?
How about him, boy? Jerry done went into Oprah mode. He said, "You get a contract. You get a contract. You get a contract. I got a contract. So let's go."
So now I just got one question for you. Are y'all going to the Super Bowl?
All them contracts, can you get a win?
Well, we can get a win. Can we get the win is the question. I mean, you know, they're coming off a pretty strong ending to last season. You know, at midway through the season, it looked like things were headed the wrong way. Picked up Amari Cooper, really changed things around, and, you know, 2 minutes left in the game after you had two running backs run for over 200 yards on the road game with the Rams, and one defensive stop, and it could be a different story.
It was a tight game.
Tight game. Yeah, and that's, you know, the question mark this year. Can they repeat and build off of you know how they ended the season last year? So that remains to be seen. I believe Dak's contract will be probably finalized before the game on Sunday, and so everybody will be happy. Now it's just time to go play. That's it.
But Dak is looking for big money too, and I don't know if he deserves it.
I can't argue with you on that. However, based on what the market has shown and the fact that Goff just signed for 110 guaranteed, I think Jerry was probably like, man, I wish I would have went ahead and signed him last year when the debate was, you know, was he worth more than $25 million a year? Now it's looking like you're going to have to pay him, you know, Carson Wentz. You look at the numbers, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff.
Well, you know, I happen to know the GM of the Rams, and he got a thing done. We were supposed to not announce that prior to the season being complete on Ballers, but we got that deal, that extension done with Goff, and he picked up the highest guaranteed money ever in the history of the NFL at 110. This is a big deal. Yeah. This is big.
I just like to see them getting guaranteed money.
I like to see them getting guaranteed money.
Absolutely. I mean, they should all have guaranteed money. All of it should be guaranteed. I mean, on each and every play, your life is in, you know, that's, come on now. I mean, baseball, basketball, why not are the contracts not guaranteed? I think that's something the players are really going to have to fight for. And, you know, a lot of times you're going into a collective bargaining agreement. Some guys are not in good situations to sit it out and for the long haul for that fight. So it's a tough situation, but that's something they really need to fight for.
Yeah, it's true. But back to the brass tacks of it all. You feel strong about the Cowboys heading into the season. You feel good about them. You got to feel good about them playing the Giants to start off.
But Zeke's not going to play.
Absolutely. I think so. The defense.
Jason Garrett said he looked like he was in great shape.
I saw him when he got off the airplane, and the video he didn't look like he was in shape.
Jason Garrett has said his going on record. Good. Jason Garrett he was in Cabo. Jason Garrett said that he was in shape and that his IQ was through the roof, so he expects him to come to speed pretty quickly because it's not like they have a new playbook he has to learn.
Right, his IQ is all his basketball.
He knows the system, but we know how that is. One thing. It's one thing to be, you know, working out twice a day, day to day, but until you get hit, you know, it's a different story, and that win goes quick. But I expect that he probably won't carry the ball more than 12 to 15 times. Pollard, I think they'll try to feature him a little bit, see what the young guy got in you know, prime time. But they should be able to beat New York with limited Zeke play. Just the fact that he's there, he's practicing. I think is enough for them to, you know, be excited going into the season opener.
I wouldn't doubt the Giants get him because Saquon Barkley is the real deal. And if they just feed him they have an above average tight end with the Giants, and you got Shepard that's not a bad receiver, and Dallas really doesn't bring a lot to the table without Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, so you can double Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I don't think Dallas is terrible.
Amari Cooper is
terrible.
You know, he's got that foot problem with the plantar fasciitis. So you know how effective he's going to be because he's been limited during training camp as well. But you know, it's a division game. We know each other, but the same thing. You got Eli Manning back there that will give it up with a little pressure. And so both teams know each other, but at the end of the day, I think our defense will do enough to you know, give the offense a chance. And so the big question this year, I think, really is, can Dak improve on what you know he did last year, the second half of the season? Can he show that he can consistently make throws beyond 12 yards? Because that's the biggest question mark with him.
Right.
You know,
I agree, because what we saw at that game against the Rams was how intertwined Zeke and Dak are. Because even though, in my opinion, I think in everybody's opinion, that Ezekiel Elliott is, you know, the engine that makes that whole thing go, the whole vehicle go over there.
Absolutely.
What we saw was the Rams, who have a well above average defense last year.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Did a great job of shutting down Ezekiel Elliott, even though he was effective on runs when they were going to him, in my opinion. But the problem was they never had to worry about Dak Prescott putting the ball on the money anywhere. So they keyed in on Zeke. Then they got them down. Then they forced the issue. Next thing you know, they got their back up against the wall, and Zeke is no longer a factor like he could be. I would like to also see them use Zeke more out of the backfield as far as passing to him.
They do, though. But my problem is Dak needs to run the ball. That changes and opens up everything. If he starts running the ball, that's the key right there. If he doesn't start running the ball, they're going to be the same player.
Thing is he stays in the pocket too long, and he was, I think, second in most sacks. But
he's a great athlete.
He's a great athlete. He's a stud.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's plenty of times he stayed in the pocket too long. He's trying to force a pass where all he had to do was put his head down, and he could get 7 to 10 yards that he's trying to force something into. So that's where I say if he can make those improvements where, you know, last year he had those difficulties, that just makes the team much better. But I think with Pollard now, who is a great passing speed, he's a running back. That's primarily what he did in college. You know, even though he shared carries with another back in college, they use him a lot in pass situation, and so that's one of his strengths. So it's going to be interesting to see how they use Zeke and Pollard, the young guy, together to, you know, hopefully. Well, the other question I think is Kellen Moore. This is going to be his first year calling plays. So can he be creative? Where, you know, they struggled with that last year. It was pretty predictive for the most part. You know, they say he's one of these young, you know, kind of progressive, innovative coordinators. So we'll see.
Well, the truth be told, if you look at the Cowboys schedule, you guys kind of got it really light until week 4. And then in week 4, it gets real, and Zeke and Dak and everybody and their mama needs to be up to speed, because the Saints always come to play. Especially you guys are going to be playing in New Orleans, followed by the Packers, followed by the Jets, who I expect to sneak out some dubs this year, because I think Le'Veon Bell is about to show you what time Le'Veon Bell is. I also think that kid Sam Darnold can go with a cat like Le'Veon Bell's the kind of guy that makes you way, way better than what you are.
He makes the defense better. He makes the receivers better, because now you have to stack the box and try to stop him, which leaves you out there one-on-one with Robbie Anderson.
And he had a year off.
Yeah, and not only that,
super fresh.
Then the defense gets to sit a little bit longer instead of staying on the field, because you can actually milk the clock with the running back.
And then after you deal with the Jets, you got the Eagles after that. You guys got 4 games where you could potentially go 0-4 if y'all play games the Cowboy way. And so you got to, I think you got, how about them boys?
Hold on.
Now's your boy. Oh, he put it on him.
I think.
We're going to wait till mid-season to start the Cowboy. Hey,
I don't see why not now.
Yeah, we got to find out.
Look, those are all valid points. I believe, you know, obviously it's going to take some ramping up for Zeke. Like I said, I think he'll have light carries this week especially, give him another full week of practicing, and they'll slowly start to increase his number of carries. But I think by week 4, they should be clicking on all cylinders. I think, the biggest key last year and the reason the Rams were able to have so much success is because if you hold Zeke to under 70 yards, they haven't won a game. And so
it's pretty clear what the mission needs to be.
Stack the box and stop Zeke, make Dak win games, and that was a big game itself. But yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. Okay, that was last year. This year, are we going to make improvements? That's the goal every year. So they say Dak's in great shape. He came into camp. He didn't talk or worry about contract. He know he's going to get paid. That's the other thing. He numbers wise, he's a middle of the pack quarterback. But based on the numbers, when you put him head to head with Carson Wentz, even Goff, his numbers are better.
No.
And so they got to pay.
His numbers aren't better than Jared Goff's. Jared Goff low key lights it up.
His numbers are better than Jared Goff. His numbers are
especially with the long ball.
There with Carson Wentz.
We got to talk about, because your man doesn't even throw past 15 yards, and Jared Goff throws the ball down the field.
That's why they call him Dak and Dink. That's the big question. Can he throw beyond 12?
Yeah, but how can you compare him to Jared Goff when he won't even throw the ball 15 yards? You'll watch Jared Goff throw the ball 30, 40, 50 yards if he has to, and he'll take his chance. Dak won't even take a chance.
Dak is a very conservative American.
Exactly.
Dak
literally.
I'm not saying he's a better quarterback. If you look at the eye test, yes, I agree with both of you. But when it comes to, the contract and salaries,
they looking at the eye test too.
His playoff record and his years in the league, he's won 2 division titles.
How many playoff games?
3.
Really?
3? Yeah.
Yeah, he's won some.
Yeah.
He's not giving you the Romo. You giving him the Romo right now.
Give him the Romo therapy. Give him the Romo therapy.
So real quick, give us a prediction on the Cowboys' win-loss this year. What do you got? Over or under 10 wins? Over 10 wins.
Wow. Barring no injuries. Yeah, that's.
Come on now.
Everybody's gonna get hurt in the NFL.
Barring no injuries in the NFL.
Barring no injuries, I'd be in the major leagues.
Major injuries to key players. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
What we talk about here.
Cowboy Kev.
Boy, you are very optimistic. That is something else.
Come on now, we can get 10 wins.
I think you're begging for a dime. There's 16 games.
those 4, you could literally go 1-3 or 0-4.
And Dallas loves to trick off a couple of games.
They love to trick 1 or 2 just with poor clock management or bad work by Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's who nobody's talking about. We need to see if he's actually improved. Forget whether or not Dak has improved. Has Jason Garrett improved at all?
I'm not mad at Jason Garrett. Me and Cowboy Kev go over it all the time. Jason Garrett is hamstrung like a lot of these coaches when you have the owner in their business. Let him coach the team. And then if we see him coach a team and mess it up, then we can say it's Jason Garrett's fault. But until Jerry Jones step out of the way, then we can't blame it on Jerry. We can't blame it on him.
Well, you can blame it on him because he knew he signed up for that in the first place. He's been the coach for over 10 years now, and his record as a head coach is 500. What other coach is going to last that to get a 10 years plus with a 500 record? It's not going to happen.
Only the ones that will play for the Cowboys because Jerry Jones needs to run the team. So if he Jason, so how are we going to? So what would you think? Jason Garrett's not going to take that chance? He's got to take that money. Well, if they're going to give him that money, if they tell you, hey, Cowboy Kev, you good? We'll give you $25 million a year, and you just stand.
Yes.
Where do I sign? On my back.
31, you want to go route?
You got to run some routes. This is what I'm saying. So how are we going to blame Jason Garrett? I mean, because I need to see a guy actually get an opportunity to run the team his way. Now, I understand because I'm like Jason Garrett. I would stand up there, too, and take all the blame and everything else. He's eating like a fat rat. But, what can you do? Yeah. I mean, everybody knows that Jerry Jones is literally in the way, just like Al Davis was with the Raiders.
Well, this is going to be interesting to see because, honestly, you're looking at two teams right off the top who met in the playoffs last year, three teams that are Super Bowl champions or bust, in my opinion. I don't think that anything less, especially with throwing all this dough around, I don't think anything less than a Super Bowl championship, at least a Super Bowl appearance for the Cowboys is acceptable and to be seen as a win. I don't think anything less than a Super Bowl win is acceptable for the Rams to be seen as a victorious season.
Right.
Based on last year, absolutely.
And not just last year, based on like a 2-year progression and based on signing Goff for a long term. And then the wild card in there is the Saints. I don't think that window is closing for Drew Brees. Drew Brees airs it out.
Yes, absolutely.
And it is what it is. And people are jumping all over.
And if it wasn't for a pass interference not called,
then Drew Brees has another ring because I don't think
Tom Brady would have blew them out. They don't even have good defense.
No, but they didn't have good offense either. That's the thing.
Yeah, but they don't. Tom Brady could beat the Saints. The Saints aren't what they're supposed to be. The biggest problem with the Rams is Sean McVay. I hate to say it. I like him as a
I cannot roll.
Because if you reflect
Whack Take. Well, you don't have whacktake.com coming up now.
Hey. Because if you look at the big games that they play every single time Sean McVay goes against Todd Gurley, he ends up getting 10, 15 carries. We were at the stadium when he did it.
Against the Falcons.
Yeah, against the Falcons.
That didn't make any sense.
He went to Chicago, did the same thing. Then he got into the Super Bowl and did the same thing. So that's a pattern now. After you do it twice, it's a pattern. And during the big game, and he was
going on with I don't know if that knee was.
I agree.
But even with
there was nothing wrong with his knee against the Falcons the year before.
No,
let's get that.
And there was nothing
top.
wrong with him against the Bears. And not only that, he went against C.J. Anderson, who was running the ball. So he changes his whole process and scheme in the big games.
Well, in my
instead
opinion,
of putting the Rams on, you put the Rams on.
But in my opinion, that's a product. I don't think it's over. That's a product of him being 35 or whatever he is, and he actually can grow from that. Because the other side of it is, if it wasn't for McVay, then you would have your boy Jeff Fisher, who the Rams were the worst
don't do
one.
that to anybody.
This is what I'm saying. Who's still sitting back counting Ezekiel Elliott type money while everybody's so excited, by the way, about the players getting paid. Jeff Fisher somewhere in Honolulu chilling. Never took one hit unless he's hitting the weed.
Exactly.
He ought to be ashamed of himself because now Jared Goff signs his big contract, and he said Jared Goff couldn't even play in the NFL.
I don't think he has to be ashamed. He got 45 million reasons that he can soften the blow of his shame.
Well, you can soften the blow, but you know what? He considers himself a football guru. And then when somebody actually shows you that you were wrong on so many different levels.
Oh, I mean, clearly.
Look, we all know a different system, a different coach can change a lot of players.
It changes a lot.
And
but I mean, he had the personnel. Let's not get that twisted.
And he never even
Jeff Fisher had the personnel.
He had Nick Foles, who lit it up and won the Super Bowl.
We went through it last year. I think it was not this past year, but it might have been the year before that. He had three of the final four quarterbacks.
Yes,
and couldn't do anything. He couldn't bust a grape. All right, want to keep it moving. So you got your over under you're saying over 10, over under on 12. You got 12. Okay, we'll set it 11. So Cowboy Kev is looking at 11-5.
We definitely get 11, but I think we'll get 12.
Wow, you greedy.
The Cowboys are the best football team on the planet, according to Cowboy Kev. That's great homer work.
You got to remember, we got Randall Cobb now, who I think is going to be great in the slot. He's an upgrade from I can't remember his name now. The little guy.
Yep, you brought Witten back. We'll see if Amari Cooper. Speaking of changing scenery, see if that because they shut him down late last year. But Amari Cooper, I'm a believer because.
So now you're telling me you don't have a receiving core.
I won't say that because Amari Cooper can't get the job done, and Randall Cobb should be a possession receiver.
Randall Cobb
and the young kid Gallup can flat out run.
But Dak
wasn't able to reach him last year.
Now, this is what we're saying.
On the same page this year.
It wasn't about being on the same page. You just got to be able to get the ball out there with confidence. I don't think they have a receiving core.
True.
Randall Cobb was a good football player, a great football player. He's not even average now. He's under average. He can't get any separation. You can stop him down in the red zone. He can't break away. You
don't need him to separate. He's going to be in the slot.
Yeah, he's going to be in the slot. Everybody's got to separate wherever you are.
Trolling Terry the Contrarian. So dark. I can't wait to run into Randall Cobb and play that. I'm gonna have to
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
I'm gonna have to clip queued up, bro.
Oh, like Cody Bellinger, huh?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, like,
What do you mean like Cody Bellinger? Were we ready to Cody and Kinley? What I'm gonna say? I can't say what's up.
No, you can't. Hey, Cody, you know what this dude said about you?
Exactly. I guess I can't even say what's up. And he does know. He does know what I said about it. They all know. My opinions are out there.
That's right.
That's right. Just like DeAndre Hopkins' opinion was out there about Bob McNair. Said that the word has come out now in his GQ interview that he said he felt like a slave. One thing that I thought was interesting, he said, I felt like a slave again. I don't remember I don't remember what DeAndre had been enslaved, but I guess we don't know. I don't know his story, so I'm going to leave that there. But he said, he said he felt like a slave. But you know, one thing, the reason I bring that up is because he said something that I thought was great, which was, he said, you know what? Bob McNair has actually done a lot of good things for people and people of color. He said, and one thing that I realize is he's old and, you know, he's going to die. And hopefully that thought process kind of dies with him, is paraphrasing here. But what he's saying, he's saying, listen, when you're from a certain place and you're of a certain age, that's how you talk. And that's the truth of the matter. Yeah, no that's question. Like when they asked Paula Dean if she had ever said nigger before. Of course. Yeah, nigga. Just 20 minutes ago. Where are you boys? Where do you think I got my recipes? Yeah. And so, you know, I thought that was big for DeAndre Hopkins too. I think we get caught up now with the cancel culture. You get caught up in wrapping things up. Bob McNair is a good old boy, Houston oil guy.
Everybody knows that.
And everybody knows that.
Not that it's right.
And not that it's right. Not that it's right. Yeah, or acceptable in 2019.
Yes.
In 1965, he was sitting pretty. You know? Right. And nothing had changed enough for him. Yeah, it is what it is. So good for DeAndre Hopkins to speak out. I think the way that we combat a lot of the fake news, if you will, or the culture of the hyper emotional culture, because what social media is, it's about emotion. People are so emotional when they respond that everything is about right now. There's no long view. Everything is a short game. Nobody works. Everybody Dak and Dip and Dink, but nobody works the long game. And I think that the way we combat that is everybody actually speaking. Is having the perspective,
speaking truth.
Yeah, and to be shame the devil.
Right on.
That's it. Yeah. And speaking of shaming the devil, the Seahawks finally did something right and signed Jadeveon Clowney, who I think is actually going to show up and play, unlike Antonio Brown.
Well, there we go. You know, a different environment. Different environment changes things. A lot of people like playing with Pete Carroll, so I think, you know, it'll be a better situation for him, and he'll get back to enjoying playing football.
We're about to see.
Well, how can you not enjoy playing football when they're paying you millions and millions of dollars doing it? And when you were playing for nothing in college and everywhere else, you go to the park and mess up your knee for nothing.
Right. I've done it.
Or a turkey bowl.
I've done it.
Man, who won? Oh, I don't know, man.
No pads.
Dislocated my shoulder, busted my knee up.
Right.
Come on, man.
That's the difference when it comes to, you know, it becomes a business, expectations and, you know, responsibilities of trying to perform and you know, it gets a little different, but that's the thing. You got some systems where they can still enjoy the game and feel like it's fun. Other places it feel like you're going to work.
Feels like a job. I've had it happen to me before playing baseball, so I mean I can definitely understand that.
Well, you talking about the Seattle Seahawks? Those Seattle Seahawks are going nowhere. They're not going anywhere.
Going nowhere fast, but they gave out some big contracts.
Yeah, they got great defense, but no offense, no offensive line, no running back, no receivers.
I heard they're picking up Antonio Brown.
They need to.
Oh my God!
But you know, staying there.
Did he find a helmet?
He's got to wear his Steelers helmet in Seattle.
Oh man!
He wants to confuse the defense.
That is the biggest. I just can't understand that, man. You getting paid millions, and you gonna say I'm gonna lead the game because I can't wear my old helmet. That just don't make no sense to me.
Which, by the way, has been proven to be less safe.
I want
CTE. That's the biggest part of it, right?
Listen, I tell you, the mind of an athlete, folks, you never know. All right, Cowboy Kev. Thanks for taking time out of your day to check into the Ozone. We'll check in with you periodically to see how them Cowboy predictions worked out.
Yeah, I think y'all be talking to me sooner than later because it's gonna be a good season.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
I'm sure Icons will have plenty to say.
I'm sure I will. Especially when you guys take this first loss to the Giants, who have nothing.
Oh, stop it.
All right, Kev.
Peace.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Always good. A pleasure.
Always.
All right.
Cowboy Kev, firing it up on the Ozone. Such a fun place for everybody to share their opinions. Folks, if you guys ever want to call in, feel free, leave a message. If we like your take, we may even give you a call live. The number is 424-254-ZONE. For those of you who didn't grow up with a phone that has the letters on it, that's 424-254-9663. Moving into basketball really quickly. Team USA is still playing games. They hurt Jason Tatum now. Supposedly he's okay. It's just a light ankle sprain. Yeah. But the thing that I wanted to cover is kind of right along lines with what Bob McNair and DeAndre Hopkins and all of that. Did you read this about the city of Milwaukee offering a $400,000 settlement to Sterling Brown?
No.
From the Bucks?
Yeah. From when they arrested him. Yeah. I've watched that, the footage of it before.
It's absurd. So listen to this though. This is the part that I wanted to get your take on this one. They offered a $400,000 settlement to him. His lawyer and his lawyer with this statement coming from Sterling himself said, no, we see no way forward unless the city admits guilt. The only way we can actually do this is if the city admits guilt, along with whatever settlement payment, because that's the only way the city can actually build. Now, the city just wants to pay him, and they just want him to pay him to go away and not bring it up anymore.
I'm with them. Because and he's with us because for the simple fact is that he has enough money so that he doesn't have to depend on that money that
he doesn't have to just go grab that 400.
Yeah, and a lot of times
to your average person that's abused by the police,
I jump on it.
I have to take that $4.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to do that. So he's
and kudos to him for standing up.
Exactly. And they need to admit fault. They were wrong.
Yep.
If you go and watch the footage, you can see that they were wrong.
And this is how you heal.
Yeah, exactly.
In general.
Because you have to state that I was wrong. I made a mistake.
In every scenario.
Exactly. But they don't want to do that. They want to ride it out and, and just, no, take the money. And it's not about the money at this point when you have money. So he can stand up and fight.
And I'm very happy that he is. I'm really supporting Sterling on this one.
There's a lot of times that you watch situations like this where people just have to take the money. Even with the guys who are getting exonerated on death row, some of them even have to still admit guilt, but we're going to let you out.
Yes, so that the state can save face.
Yes.
In their prosecution rate or in whatever it is.
Exactly, and that's not right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You put this guy away for maybe 15 or 20 years already. So now why don't you just admit that you were wrong, give this dude his money, and let him go on with his life? But you don't even want to make him you won't even let him have a conscience, a free conscience.
A guilt-free conscience.
Yeah, a guilt-free conscience.
Yeah, it's true. And the situation is, it's just pretty amazing because something nobody ever brings up is these are Milwaukee taxpayers that are paying that.
Exactly.
When you read this, that $400,000 is coming out of your check. The money you pay in taxes, in tolls, in parking citations, in all of that. This is what they do with this money. Exactly. It is truly in everybody's interest to have social justice and equality.
Right.
It's really in your interest to not have people get racially profiled, abused, so on and so forth, because you're actually the one literally paying for it.
But most of the time it doesn't, if it's not affecting you, you really don't care.
Well, this is why I bring it up, because I think a lot of people don't recognize that the city breaks off these checks out of money that you're paying.
Right. It's not coming out of their pocket at all.
When the LAPD, when the sheriff, that lady walked onto the freeway, an old lady walked onto the freeway because she had a mental problem, and the sheriff pulled her over and
ground and pound,
beat the crap out of her, UFC style. And beat the crap out of her. Her skirt was flying up. Thank God somebody saw it on the freeway, and actually, thank God for once traffic in LA was so bad.
Right.
Because somebody was driving by so slowly that they caught the whole thing on cell phone video. And
he was completely out of pocket.
He's totally out of pocket. He just got on top of her, straddled her, and ground and pound like it was the end of a UFC match. Mm-hmm. That lady ended up getting $6 million from the city of Los Angeles.
Did she get an apology? Do you know?
I do not think she got an apology, but what she got is a good portion of the taxes that everybody in this room is paying.
Right. And that was the highway patrol, but I forgot.
I thought that was a sheriff. That's highway patrol.
The sheriffs pay out an astronomical amount of money in Los Angeles every year because of, just going around beating the crap out of people.
Right.
and it's out of the taxpayer's pocket.
Right. And then we go with the whole paid administrative leave and investigation.
Shuffle them off to an office.
And next thing you know, they're back on the streets.
Yeah. Not cool, dude.
Not cool. Just like it's not cool that Lonzo Ball finally admitted that his brand Zo2 sneakers were exploding during match play.
That's not cool.
Come on, Zo.
Going Zion on him.
So Lonzo Ball literally admitted on a podcast with the homie Josh Hart the other day that when it first came out, the shoes that him and his father were peddling were so bad that he was peddling for $500.
Crazy.
The shoes were so bad that he could not wear them for more than a quarter at a time.
Don't you think they should have put more research into figuring out how to make the ultimate shoe at that price?
At which point, the Lakers asked him, hey, what's up with the shoe? This is coming from Lonzo Ball. Mm-hmm. He said, after my third ankle injury, the Lakers asked me, are you sure your shoes are up to code? To which he responded, oh, yeah, no, they're good. I wouldn't wear them if they weren't good. I'm comfortable. I feel good. Now he's coming out saying they weren't good.
Where were they made? Do you know?
I had nothing to do with it, dude. I'm feeling like, dude, I didn't make them. No, I didn't make those shoes.
Dude, you sure?
No, I don't know where they were made. And, something about this just really, really bothers me.
I can tell.
It really bothers me because there was a movement, if you remember at that time, to support the Big Baller brand amongst a lot of people, especially a lot of African-American celebrities.
That should bother you in itself because somebody going to pay $500 for some tennis shoes, especially if you can't wear them or use them for anything, just to say that you have them is a problem. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that don't even have $500 a month, let alone putting them on a shoe that explodes or tears down in a few minutes.
Okay, maybe I don't understand what you're saying. So that's the part that should make me mad?
Yeah, that you should be upset that people would go and buy something just because somebody says that, hey, these are Zo, whatever. They're not a proven product. That's what I'm saying. They weren't a proven product for everybody to run out and go pay $500 for it.
Because what they were trying to do is the people who were trying to buy them were the people who supported Lonzo Ball and the people who supported LeVar Ball and the people who supported what it was that he was selling, which was not the shoe itself. The shoe was a manifestation of saying, I'm trying to support black business. I'm trying to support this kid coming up and us having our own brands and so on and so forth. So you're trusting that. Nobody's going to go buy a pair of $500 sneakers unless you can buy the $500 sneakers and eat that if it doesn't work out.
I don't believe that. There's a lot of kids and stuff that go out and do
all
kinds of stuff.
They didn't even sell 200 pair or something like that. They didn't sell.
Maybe they'll become a collector's item then, like baseball cards.
Maybe so, but that's, again, you're missing the point on purpose. That's not. Maybe there will be as per him in the podcast, he said they can't be a collector's item because if you've worn them and played in them, they've exploded. But what I'm saying is that if you knew that as the Ball family, whether it was Lonzo or LeVar, why do you keep pushing these $500 shoes and telling people, I remember a whole group of black celebrities that were like, yeah, I'm trying to support him. I'm buying them because I bought 2 pair. Because I would go buy 2 pair of Adidas Yeezys for $600 or $700. So instead, I'm buying some Big Baller brand.
And once again, I'm saying that when you talk about buying the Yeezys, I really don't care for them, but they were a proven product. You know what you were getting with them. And with Lonzo Ball, somebody needs to, wear them, test them.
I don't know about that. You're saying just because it's Adidas?
No, just because they, for one, they are Adidas, and another, what you're getting with the Adidas brand. We don't know what we're getting with the Big Baller brand. That could be made in somebody's garage.
How do you ever know that?
Well, when Lonzo Ball wears them and quit getting ankle sprains, that's how we'll know.
You wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. We're coming at this from totally different perspectives. I can't not buy the clothes. If I see a T-shirt I like, I can't not buy it because I'm like, man, I don't know who made that. I don't know if it's a proven T-shirt. It might shrink. It might. But this is the risk that I'm willing to take because the T-shirt for $20 isn't going to change my life. So if it's
$500 is different than $20 T-shirt.
It's not for the person who has a gang of money. This is like the $40,000 fine for AB.
And you see how he acted with the $40? I mean, with the fine?
I don't understand where you're going with this, but anyways, I just thought it was a bad beat from the Ball family. And honestly, I'll even go as far as to say you should have kept that to yourself, Lonzo, after the fact.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
It's a got you moment.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So wear that. If that's what it is now, well, you need to wear that. Moving on, we'll talk about the sport of boxing. Did you see this? Did Manny Pacquiao launch his own Bitcoin or his own currency?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao has launched his own currency the other day, which is, I don't know, pretty cool on one level. He's launched a cryptocurrency. Thank you. Mm-hmm. He launched a cryptocurrency, and it's called PAC. And you guys go look it up.
And what's it being used for? Usually cryptocurrency has something that it's being used for.
I think let me look up the article, but I do believe his has something to do. Excuse me. I think his has something to do. They're called PAC tokens. They were supposed to be available by the end of 2019, the first quarter, to 2018, the first quarter of 2019, but now they've come into longer. The PAC tokens will enable Pacquiao's fans to purchase his merchandise and interact with him on social media. During a free concert in Manila, Pacquiao performed songs from his own album, which consists of cover songs of popular love songs that has sold thousands of copies.
That's what the coin is good for me to watch Pacquiao sing. I can't even watch you fight.
You can interact. You can interact.
I know you like it.
The PAC token will be listed on Singapore's global crypto offering exchange and list both Pacquiao and footballing legend Michael Owen as private investors. Sheikh Khalid bin Zayed Al Nahyan, a member of Abu Dhabi's ruling family, is also listed as a private investor. And tennis star Caroline Wozniacki and Jason Derulo also have plans to launch crypto tokens as well.
Usually when you have a cryptocurrency or something, they're used for something, that it's all about the encryption and you being able to control your money and everything else.
You can control it to Manny. How about that?
At the concert.
There you go. And sticking along those lines, we found out one of Manny's old foes, Adrian Broner, is still AB. Seems like AB is just a bad set of call letters to have because now he's getting sued for stealing jewelry. Basically, he borrowed a bunch of pieces for like $500,000 for the Manny Pacquiao presser and blah, 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 blah. And he got those pieces. He gave those pieces back, but he also ordered another $1 million worth of pieces, to which the guy gave him some discount or something like that. And I think it was $500,000, but he never paid for them. Surprise,
this is not the
surprise.
first time, though. This is how he plays. He's
giving you the
classic AB.
He's giving you classic vintage
I have
AB.
a number one, please.
Oh, you want the classic AB? Would that be with or without diamonds?
Without.
Okay, no payment. Just keep moving through. But what we did want to talk about is the fight that took place this past weekend between Vasily Lomachenko, widely considered by a lot of people to be the world's pound for pound number one, and Luke Campbell. Give me your take on the fight.
I like what Luke brought to the table.
Because you text me, and I had forgotten that the fight was on. Uh-huh. And you text me, and you say, yo, this fight is going down.
Yeah, Luke gave him a problem with his size and his length, and he had a little pop to him. And with Lomachenko, he has to come into him, and Luke knew that. I think that one of the things that Luke Campbell didn't have was speed, and that hurt him a lot. And if he had the speed to keep him off of him and pepper him with that jab to keep the distance, I felt like he could have really hurt Lomachenko. Maybe won, because the fight was close up until like what was it? What round did he get knocked down?
11th.
The 11th. I think the fight was close up until like the 9th or 10th.
I would say the 7th or 8th. My take was, Luke Campbell, we talked about it before the fight. He fought tall, which was good. Mm-hmm. And he actually surprised Loma. And I think that he had Loma more hurt than he knew that he had him early.
He did.
And again, listening to the broadcast, man, you just can't get a square broadcast.
No.
You always get the broadcast from the perspective of whoever the network's guy is,
right.
guys.
Which was Loma.
We can't tell you enough. Just turn off the sound when you watch the fights, because they're going to lead you astray more times than not on the analysis. So Campbell was effective early. Going into the 5th round, I think I had it 3-2 for Campbell. It could have gone the other way. It could have been 2-2-1 or 2-3.
Now, the network had it tied or had Loma, I do believe, ahead.
The network had 3-2 for Loma. Yeah. I actually, and that was some of the gassing that they were doing in one of the rounds where Loma didn't really do much, but they were like, oh, here he comes. Here he's setting him up for the kill. Right. Oh, here's Loma.
And I think that the guy that does the Harold Letterman for them had Campbell ahead, actually.
Okay.
Or tied.
Now, here's what I will say. I felt like what I was impressed by with Loma is that he loves to fight.
Yeah, he has heart. I like that.
He's got big heart, and he actually enjoys fighting.
You can tell.
He has, and he's in tremendous shape because he turned up his output around the 4th or 5th round. Seemed like he got comfortable, and he turned up the output, and he was all over Campbell. I mean,
Campbell caught him coming in the 7th
and kept him at bay to a certain degree. I definitely thought Loma won the fight. I thought he won it comfortably. But I also saw flaws in Loma's game, which not even just flaws. He just needs more professional fights, which leads me to say what I had been speculating off air for a long time, which is that if Mikey Garcia and Loma fight at 135, I think Mikey Garcia stops Lomachenko.
Yeah.
I think he gets him off his feet. I think that Loma is a top grade. He's a great fighter that I think is a great fighter at 130. I think he's getting put in a situation where the more lucrative fights and the fights where people can stop hiding from him are actually at 135 and up. He shouldn't go up. 135 is where he should top out at, because the guys we saw it with Jorge Linares, who had heavy enough hands to cause an issue. We saw this kid buzz him a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with fighting in your weight class and dominating in your weight class. There are a lot of fights to be made at 130 that actually could be interesting if these guys are willing to fight each other. And
that's another situation where I feel like Loma is not running from anybody
at all.
Yeah,
Loma wants to fight.
Yeah, he has confidence. He just can't get enough fights, and he's going to end up being like Anthony Joshua in the sense where you can't get enough fights in a year, or you have to handpick a bunch of.
You're just trying to fill the contract or whatever it is that Bob Arum is doing.
Right.
Kudos to Bob Arum. I do believe that this fight. Oh no, that was the last one. Sorry. I thought this fight was actually a cross-promotional thing, but no, I think this one was ESPN Plus that kept it in-house. But the Loma situation,
they're trying to get Tank Davis out of there. I think Tank could probably that'll be a war.
I think he beats Tank, but I think it will actually help both fighters.
I don't know if he can beat Tank because I don't see him take a big punch.
Tank has big thump.
He has big
140 thump.
Yeah, he's got a big man thump.
But it just depends. I don't feel like Tank has gotten enough rounds.
Yeah.
I feel like if Tank fights Tevin Farmer and gets by Tevin, chances are that would go the distance, or it would get the rounds that he needs to then fight Loma.
But Loma hasn't gotten a lot of rounds either.
Yeah, this is true. But I feel like his rounds, I feel like this is where his amateur background actually does help. This is where the hundreds and hundreds of fights in amateurs actually helps in comparison to the rest of these guys in this division, or have the majority of their experience has been in the pros.
I know that they try to ramp up, the fights and pick the right fights for these guys so that they can build it up to a fever pitch. But it actually hurts these guys a lot of times because a guy like Loma and Gervonta, they don't get enough rounds. And then in that, you end up fighting a bunch of tomato cans. And when you get into a real fight, you end up having a problem.
You can have a problem that you actually have the tools. Yeah. You actually have the ability to overcome, but you may not have the tools to overcome.
I mean, he beat Linares, 6 rounds, 7? How long did that?
9. That was a 9-round fight.
9. I mean, Gervonta, how many rounds is he? The last 3 fights?
I think that just went the second round. He just knocked this guy out in the second round.
8 rounds in the last 3 fights?
I can't even remember Gervonta's last few fights, to be honest.
It's crazy.
Because there was that period when he lost out on the scale. And he it wasn't for the belt.
Juicy Gervonta.
Juicy G. He got it back. And fought well in that fight that I do not think, that fight at the StubHub that didn't go the distance. He knocked that dude out inside of 2 or 3 rounds. And there's something to be said for knocking guys out quick, but there's also, again, like when you get into the deep water
and get battle tested,
you can have the Mike Tyson effect. But I mean, it was more impressive with Mike Tyson because he's dealing with heavyweights, and any one punch can end any heavyweight fight. And then sitting along with that, this is one that's a surprise to me, but yes and no with the punishment that he took. Jared Swift-Hurd withdrew from the Julian Williams rematch.
I'm not surprised.
He's the one that called for the rematch immediately. And he overpowered Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd had that whole thing when he's sitting around, you know, when he had that thing that he did that just like the fight we watched live when he was at the StubHub. Mm-hmm. We saw that whole situation where he likes to take punishment early, and J-Rock
to prove that he can take punches.
And J-Rock was like, "Oh, great, this will make my job a lot easier." And in the classy form of J-Rock, which he has done, from the moment that he won, because he only lost one time, he just put up on Twitter a piece and said, "Hey, I don't kick no man while he's down. I wish Hurd the best, and I'm confident he'll be champion again."
Just not in his division.
Just not with me. But they're talking about now PBC is exploring a clash between Williams and Erislandy Lara, which could be a very interesting fight because Lara is a slick fighter who actually can take a punch. But if J-Rock fights the way he fought against Hurd, he can be a problem. But Hurd did make himself an easy target. And right. Lara is not an easy target.
Too much punishment.
Yeah, a lot of punishment.
And not only will he not be able to fight pretty soon, he might not be able to fight, you know,
he took
long-term.
A lot of punishment from that fight.
Yeah.
And J-Rock, one other thing, classy thing that I liked that J-Rock did was he basically called out all of the pundits for one loss, meaning the end of a guy's career, acting like it's the end of his career.
That's crazy.
And he also called out the fact that he wants everybody to be VADA tested nonstop. He's all for it.
Why not? Why you can't?
Because I need to cheat so that I can make sure that I keep up my contract. Right. What are you, slow, dude?
Duh.
And now we got and then finally, Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua squared off in Saudi Arabia for the first time since that June 1st fateful night. And wow,
let's get it on.
It's time to get it on. They really don't like each other now.
No, they don't like each other. I knew it would turn out like this.
Yeah,
and that's what you need. You know, you need.
That's what Anthony Joshua needed.
You need the Lex Luthor Superman thing going. You know what I'm saying? You have to have an antagonist, and Andy Ruiz seems to be that person for him now. But since he can't get a fight with the big guys,
yeah,
and so now he has to put it on Andy Ruiz. I honestly feel like he's going to stop Andy Ruiz if he fights his fight, which is him standing out there using his size and his speed and his,
which is what he did in the first 3 rounds.
What he did in the first 3 rounds,
first 2.5 rounds.
Yeah, and put him on his back instead of trying to put on a show or be a person that he's not. He'll win the fight. I mean, not that it's easy, but because I like Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is nice.
But Andy Ruiz has clear clear disadvantage as far as size goes.
Exactly.
Which is what needs to be exploited. And now also, wow, look at this. So Gervonta Davis actually vacated his WBA title. He moved up to 135. Uh-huh. So they're really looking for this tank. He's looking for the tank fight, even if Leonard Ellerbe and Mayweather Promotions are not. This is going to be very, very interesting to see where it goes. All right, folks, we're going to move on to our college football segment because last week we had a technical difficulty and we couldn't get you the picks. Let's call our expert right now and see what the picks are for this week's NCAA Top 25.
Hello.
Do it for the tip or a solemn mood. Talk to me.
You okay?
What's happening? Did some picks go the wrong way?
Not at all, suckers.
So why you acting like you trapped in the closet?
Thought they were on you.
What happened, Mr. Big?
Got that lag on me, bro.
Okay. You've been globetrotting.
Man, yeah.
Too busy for the OZone. I had money to lay last week, and I couldn't even find you.
I was en route. Why you gonna blame it on me, sucker?
Well, I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. Get me right today.
Are you trying to get right now?
I'm trying to get right now if it's possible to find out about that NC dub. I heard you got that good.
Man, I've always got that
good. Where should I lay my bread?
You should lay your bread. Okay. OZone, listen to me. I went 1 out of 2 last week. That's pretty good. This week, I'm going to predict a good, give me 4 out of 5 this week. I'm going 94%, 95%. I'm going to go with number 5, Ohio, over Cincinnati. Cincinnati is real deep, real good team. I'm going to go with number 21, Syracuse, over Maryland. Maryland is still trying to figure it out. The big game, as I mentioned earlier, is Clemson playing against Texas A&M. I'm rolling with Dabo Swinney and them Clemson Tigers. Then there's another one. Texas, number 12 Texas. They have a big game, and they are playing against LSU, number 6 LSU. I'm sorry, Texas is number 9 this week. So, y'all, if y'all know me, if y'all been listening for years and years and years that the OZone has been just on this World Wide Web and just out there in social land, I also like them LSU Tigers. Just something about them Tigers, huh? LSU, Clemson, but I'm going with the Tigers. I like them Baton Rouge LSU Tigers over Texas. Then we have New Mexico versus number 2 Alabama. I like Alabama, of course. They still got the shady early schedule. They don't play nobody early on and somehow always make it to the playoff time for the national championship. But with this one, Alabama. Then we got Murray State over number 3 Georgia. And you know what? I'm saying 4 out of 5. I'm thinking the biggest toss-up for this week is going to be in between Cincinnati versus Ohio. I think Cincinnati will put a little bit of pressure on Ohio to get the win. So if I would select a upset, if you're rolling with me, I would go with that one. But if you want to play safe, just go with Ohio over Cincy.
Well, I want to talk about a big upset. And when can I start looking towards the big upsets? I'm a gambler, so I like to gamble with mine.
You know, if Ohio State was playing in Cincinnati, I would say go with Cincinnati for that big upset. But the Horseshoe is a difficult place to play at. So when college football starts getting into this is almost like their preseason. They don't play 4 games of real preseason games like the NFL. So these preseason games are the ones where they can, travel, or they got the smaller schools going to these bigger schools just to get the money. So I would say about week 3, week 4, just like the NFL, and well, not like the NFL, but 3 to 4 preseason games. But after that, in mid-September, it started getting real.
Okay,
and we'll start calling out the upsets then. Based off the schedules that I've been looking at, it doesn't look like nothing's going to happen until maybe when Earl Spence put them hands on Porter.
Okay. Keep laughing. Keep laughing at showtime. Sean got the green belt. We gonna see. Well, I want to play something for you. Something that I came across that swept through social media that I really enjoyed from Nick Saban, and here it is.
When somebody does something wrong, everybody wants to know how you're going to punish the guy. All right, but there's not enough for 19 and 20-year-old kids, people out there saying, why don't you give them another chance? All right, so I'm going to give a speech right now about this. Like, where do you want him to be? Guy makes a mistake. Where do you want him to be? You want him to be in the street? Or do you want him to be here graduating? When I was over there at the Nagurski, Muhsin Muhammad, who played 15 years for the Carolina Panthers, played for me at Michigan State. Everybody in the school, every newspaper guy, everybody was killing a guy because he got in trouble and said there's no way he should be on our team. I didn't kick him off the team. I suspended him. I made him do stuff. He graduated from Michigan State. He played 15 years in the league. All right, he's a president of a company now. And he has 7 children, and his oldest daughter goes to Princeton. So who was right? I feel strong about this now, really strong. All right, about all the criticism out there of every guy that's 19 years old that makes a mistake, and you all kill him. And then some people won't stand up for him. So my question to you is, where do you want him to be? You want to condemn him to a life sentence? Or do you want the guy to have his children going to Princeton? You want to close on that, or we want to just...
I'm on the late bus because I meant to play that last week, but we didn't end up getting the segment. The college football segment. But honestly, I have more respect for Nick Saban now than I ever had, and I'm really looking forward to that HBO special with him and Bill Belichick to talk about coaching, to talk about what they do as coaching. I'm sure it'll bleed into coaching, what it does to make adults and successful adults in society. That's real solid what he said there, man.
Right. You're supposed to give up on them?
Yeah.
They're 19 years old.
Man,
they make mistakes. You make mistakes when you're that young.
Yep.
You make mistakes when you're older.
You make mistakes when you're old, let alone when you're 19.
It's part of life.
Right. That's deep.
Anybody.
And I've never, as much college stuff NCAA stuff that I watch and listen to, I wasn't that. I thought that was actually you talking, Omar.
No.
You sound like Omar Saban just doing a voiceover.
Nah, man, I can't take credit for that one.
Dope.
That man,
was pretty dope.
It really was. I mean, and you know, it's again, we're in this age now of the cancel culture, and I'm a firm believer about people going too far, and there has to be some boundaries. But there is a real problem with 24-hour media cycles and 24-hour news cycles that put everybody in a position to
be a hypocrite.
To be a hypocrite, because that's all it is. And this is why people are buzzing so much about that Dave Chappelle special on Netflix as well. Is because he calls out the hypocrisy, everybody's hypocrisy in it.
He does. But
he does it in a way that's so clever.
He does it in a super clever way.
Yeah, because I ended up watching it twice, and it was just like, wow. The first time I watched it, it was, just laughs and giggles. The second time, it was like, wow, this dude really flipped it where everyone can listen and everyone could, was able to understand it.
Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah, no, this is a crazy time in history. Yeah, you really have to be on your P's and Q's right now. But do it for the tipper. Thanks for the call. Sorry to catch you on a jet lag day. Just wanted to get it up before them boys kick off again for the second week of college football. Who do you got tonight? We'll come back and see if you were right or not. Who do you got tonight? You got Aaron Rodgers and them Packers, or you got Khalil Mack and them Bears?
Man, I got to go with them Bears. Being out in Chicago, I fell in love with the city. I like them Bears. I like them 85 Bears this weekend. And that's why, that's real quick. That's why I mentioned, because I was watching a highlight out in Chicago where the Bears was playing Green Bay, and Walter Payton had 24 carries for 175 yards to start the fourth quarter.
And you had a Ron Dane flashback. Yeah, buddy.
Come on, man. But appreciate y'all. Thanks for the call. Listen to me once again. You can find me at Do It For The Tipper. Do It For The Tipper at all social media. So appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
All right, Tipper.
Peace.
All right.
Well, folks, it's another interesting week in the game of Major League Baseball, and we once again haven't really gotten any new information about who's going to make the playoffs or not, but it does look a little bit clear who's not going to make the playoffs, because it looks like the New York Mets are not serious. Much to the chagrin, I'm sure, of Thunder Dan that called in last week. They blew an unblowable lead the other night. You can't be in a wild card hunt and go into the bottom of the ninth up 10-4. 10-4?
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't roll.
That's not the first time. It's the first time it happened to them, but it happens in baseball. That's just a big meltdown. Big piece of meltdown right there.
That's too big. That's too big of a piece
too
of
big
a bust down. Meltdown, Tatiana. It was the wrong way. And guys are leaving the yard, man. Now, you don't think the ball's juiced.
I really don't think the ball's juiced. I know that everybody, even in the MLB or who are the manufacturers, that the guys are swinging for home runs. Everything is balancing out. We have more strikeouts because we have more home runs. This is the give and take of it all. You have low batting averages because guys are swinging for the fences. If the guys go up there and swing for the fences, you can get in the seats, but my average is going to suffer. That's why you don't see knocks going the other way and, line drives up the middle. You see both guys getting over the fence.
Yeah, but you see so many guys getting over
you also,
look at the numbers. And everybody, they're giving out 30 home runs. Don't even talk about 30 no more. 30 home runs is not even elite level. We're talking about, we're going into we got about a full 3 weeks left of the season, almost a month, but more like 3 weeks.
Gonna bust the record up.
And he's already busted the record. And Pete Alonso might actually give the Roger Maris record a go right now.
Right.
He's looking at Pete Alonso. Mike Trout's got 45. Mike Trout got him another one today.
But you're talking about guys being better athletes, better than they were back in the past, because now guys can sit, they can work out all off season. You can work on your swing. You can work on in the gym. You're eating the right foods and all that stuff. Back in the day, people didn't do that. It was looked down upon to even work out with weights. And, back in the day, they tell you about swimming back then. You don't want to mess up your eyes by going swimming with the chlorine. So nowadays, guys are eating the right foods. They're lifting weights. They have a plan. They have a program, and it makes a difference. And so just thinking that the ball is juiced, that's not enough to get it out. You still have to make contact. These guys are making solid contact.
Squaring balls up.
Yeah, squaring the balls up. Look at a guy like Pete Alonso, who's on the tear like that. The reason why he's on the tear, though, he makes solid contact, and he's built like a tree trunk.
Now, I wonder if there's any consideration of moving the fences back to where they were before they moved them forward to make
the ball leave.
Yeah, to get more offense. One thing that you're seeing a lot of is guys are making the ball go, and one thing you're seeing a lot of is injuries with outfielders trying to go get the ball. You see George Springer go get
almost
that ball.
Broke his neck.
Man.
Now he's got a mild concussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is why you don't have a long lifespan as a center fielder in baseball, because you're the guy who actually has to lay it all on the line. Yeah, you're the running back. He's diving, he's running into a wall. Look at Ken Griffey Jr. If Ken Griffey Jr. didn't play center field, there's no telling what he might have done in baseball, but he was the guy who got screws in his wrists and and he's running into walls, and just like Eric Davis punctured his lung. The guys are going to get it.
These guys go get it.
Yeah, and they're in the show, and that's the way you're supposed to play the game.
That's how you're
Not
supposed to
play. Like a lot of these guys now who are getting ground balls hit to them and let them go through their legs, off their gloves, and then the official scorers giving them base hits, talking about the ball was hit hard. I mean, these guys catch the ball, or at least try to catch it. Give you above average, try effort.
Now, along those lines, do you like what you saw from the kid that came out?
Which one?
The kid that came out for the Dodgers, the kid Gavin
Lux.
Oh,
yeah, I love Gavin Lux. I like to see what he did.
He
came up there.
serious.
Yeah, and you know what? He has confidence, and you can see it when he played his game. He had a lot of confidence. His first at bat got him a knock up the middle, and I think, what did he go, 2 for 3 or 2 for 4 in the first game? Then they moved him up into the 1 hole. Yeah, he's ready to go.
He's ready to go.
He was batting in the mid threes in AAA. I was surprised they brought him up. The way that they hold people down nowadays.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a fantastic article that you guys should read on ProPublica about how everything you need to play baseball is made in China, and it's all getting hit by Trump's tariffs. So if you love the game of baseball, take a read on that, because baseball is America's pastime, but it's played within China-made gear
that you're going to have to pay extra for.
You're going to have to pay extra for if you want your kid to play. And the Dodgers extended their netting.
How do you feel about that?
All the way to the foul line.
I heard they extended all the way to your house.
That's cool. They won't have to worry about seeing me at the game.
It's all the way on your driveway, everywhere. Dude. They
even
got it netted around your car. You can't even get in your car.
They're keeping me safe. I'm on my phone. And staying in that realm of baseball, a very interesting story popped up that I couldn't believe when you told me. One of the league's worst umpires, as renowned by every fan and player in the league, is Angel Hernandez. Angel Hernandez has a serious bone to pick about being a terrible umpire. So serious that he's willing to sue Major League Baseball for not allowing him to ruin more games
in the postseason. In the
games that matter.
Yeah, World Series, whatever. He's known as the worst umpire in probably the last 10 years in baseball. Angel Hernandez has single-handedly ruined probably about 200-300 games.
Sounds like he ruined some of your games.
Bet.
I bet
because
he did.
if you're actually putting money on the games and Angel Hernandez is the umpire, you have problems. Because he's not only missing balls and strikes, he misses plays that are on the base paths. I mean, he's just a bad umpire overall. And what he's doing is going to the discrimination card.
What's he saying?
He's saying that he's being discriminated against for being a Latino. And that's why they're not letting him umpire the big games in the postseason. He hasn't been able to graduate because he's being discriminated against.
I would love to see some stats, because whenever I watch the umpiring crews, they seem to be pretty diverse.
Yeah. Well, they're going to do a psych evaluation on him now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how deep it is. So they're going to do a psych evaluation because he's literally known as the worst umpire in baseball. And there's actually somewhere on Twitter where you can go and they have a 10-minute video conveniently titled Angel Hernandez Sucks. 10 minutes worth of Angel Hernandez's bad calls.
Ooh.
Yeah, the guy is ridiculous. And I don't like him going to the race car just because he's not doing his job the right way. So shout out to Angel Hernandez.
I sound like shots fired at Angel Hernandez, not shout out.
Both.
Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you today. We're going to have some interesting guests for the month of September. It's go time, and the Ozone is growing. Thank you all for listening to us and supporting us. We're going to leave you with a quote from Rabindranath Tagore. And he said, "The one who plants trees knowing that he will never sit in their shade has at least started to understand the meaning of life." We're in this thing together, folks. I'm your host, Omar Miller, and this is
Ozone.
I'm just living the dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not just a game. This here is my life. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah.